Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Brother Sister Show, a family owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. This week, we're talking about Livia's pick, Kramer versus Kramer. But before we get into that, what's new, Livia? What's up? What have you watched? What's happening?
Nothing really. We're still releasing episodes of Antisocial Distance, so that's in the best way consumed my life. Yeah, and so those are still coming. Well, God, those are still coming out.
You okay?
Yeah, those are still coming out. They will be. I think the finale will be out by the time this episode. No, that's not true. If you're watching, because if you listen to this Thursday morning, then it won't be out yet, but it'll be out Thursday afternoon. Yeah, but it'll still be available to watch, so you can binge them. I've been watching them day to day. I've seen like basically all of them already, but I've still been watching them day to day. I think you have too, right? For the most
Yeah,
part.
I haven't watched day 6, which is today,
Yeah,
but it's very good.
it's very good, and it's very nice to hear all the good feedback. We've gotten a really like positive reaction so far, which is very, very nice. Yeah. And so I haven't really watched anything. I've watched ER. I didn't start it from the beginning because I've already seen it. But I started from like maybe the middle or towards the end. And so I'm actually in the middle of the last episode.
Nice.
I know. And it's still like it's so dumb, but it made me so sad because I mean I don't know if, well, this isn't a spoiler, but so it has a pretty iconic like title, or not title, opening music basically, or like a title card thing. What do you call that?
Intro?
Opening
Oh,
sequence.
opening sequence.
So they have like a really famous one, pretty iconic, where it has like this really very 90s song that plays. But then I think in the later seasons, like I want to say like season like maybe 11 or 12 or something, they started doing this really short one, and it was more dramatic, not as like, catchy. But this last episode, it started out and they did they used the like old title or old opening sequence song, but they also used like basically they just like used some of the old one and then they put the new one in. It was just really cool how they did it, and I forgot they did that. And it weirdly made me so emotional. I've just haven't been sleeping a ton, so I think I'm just like,
Right. It's going
yeah,
through it.
just kind of going insane. Yeah, but so that weirdly made me emotional. Like I almost cried because I was like, wow, they did it.
Can't believe it.
This is for the fans. And I don't know, there's just stuff that's going like full circle. Just a great show. Yeah, I also watched Shrek.
Yeah.
To
So
pay
did
for my
I.
sins. And I watched it during work. I know you probably wanted me to like fully pay attention, but I mean,
It's
I've seen
fine.
it so many goddamn times. But I forgot a lot that happened in it. Weirdly,
Mhm. There's so
I
much,
think
like,
I think because I merged the second one with this one so much, and
right.
honestly, I don't know if this is controversial, but I kind of like the second one a little bit more.
I don't think that's controversial. I think it's more
Okay, I
controversial
mean,
to like the first one more.
okay, because I mean, I forgot. Well, for one, I don't like sequels. I think we've kind of established that. But two, um, it weirdly like it's not like I don't want to. I'm not trying to say that Shrek like the first one is like shitty. It's not. It's very good, and then it just gets even better, which
It
is very
does.
rare.
It's
And
funny.
even the
We're
third one, from
actually.
what I remember, it's not that bad. I don't think it's that good, but it's not terrible from what I remember.
I don't remember the third one. If I win again, I'll make you watch the second and the third. But they were actually watching it while we were eating dinner right now. The second one.
It's pretty good. Does it hold up?
Very good. Oh yeah, it does. There's like so many more uh like uh
That's
references
the
to
one.
other media,
That's the one with the fairy godmother, right? Or no?
right? With Prince Charming.
Oh, and then he gets turned into a human, and it's really scary.
Yeah,
It's a
very
good
good.
one.
What else?
That's it. What have you been watching?
Well, a couple of things besides Shrek and Kramer versus Kramer. A friend recommended this series on. Shout out to Jackie. She recommended Them on Prime. It's a series. Have you seen it?
Okay, so I've seen. I saw like the first. I want to say 2 or 3 episodes because of South by.
Oh, okay. Did you talk about it on the pod?
I don't think so because it was an episodic premiere. It wasn't like a movie.
Oh,
I might have mentioned it, but the episodes I saw, I personally didn't like it.
I like the first one. That's the only one I've seen so far. Um, Country made me just as angry with like all the racism. I don't know if I don't know much about them. I don't know if it gets like supernatural, but Lovecraft Country just like I had the same like it just made me think of it. It's pretty good so far though. And then
Well, are
Kayla,
you done with that? Talking about that?
yeah, am I done with
Okay,
that? Yeah.
one thing that I didn't really care for it because I just feel like I just don't understand what it's about. Two, I so the only reason I watched it during South by was because I thought it was a I thought it was like a kind of a sequel or in the same universe as Us, the Jordan Peele movie.
Oh,
And I mean, I thought that without any research. And then when I started watching it, I thought that still because of the style of it, right?
right.
He has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And so there was this whole like controversy, or just I guess people talking on Twitter about it, and just how much people are like, he's only done 2 movies and people are already starting to like copy his style.
Right.
And yeah, I could that kind of I mean, I don't want to say that he like owns a specific style of film, but like it's very much him.
I could kind of see that.
I don't know. To me, it's unmistakable that it's literally just it feels like they just watched his movies and then we're like, okay, but like how do we do that with like by
With the
ourselves?
show.
Yeah. And it just that rubs me the wrong way a little bit.
I can
But
see
I
that.
mean maybe it's a good show. I don't know. I can't really fully judge it. But the episodes I saw, I didn't really like.
Right. I don't know. We also watched Two Distant Strangers on Netflix. It's kind of like Palm Springs. It's a short film, only about 30 minutes. Uh, so it let me just read you the synopsis, and I'll leave it at that. Well, I really liked it. Um, a man trying to go home to his dog gets stuck in a time loop that forces him to relive a deadly run-in with a cop. So it's about police brutality, but like Palm Spring, like a time loop, you
Jesus.
know. I really liked it. It was like a decent twist that I don't know. Just watch it. Very topical. I feel like everyone should see that.
Oh, okay. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I hadn't either until Kayla recommended it, and then it was like I was working on an exam, like a take home midterm, and she was watching it, and the TV's right here because of the way we organized the room, and then
Mm-hmm.
I like caught some of it, and then I was like really interested, so I just started watching it. So that I can't think of anything else that I've watched. This Is Us, but I mean,
I haven't watched it. Every time I talk to Dad, he asks me if I watched it, but I don't know. It just like I guess I'm just not that interested. Maybe after I'm free of the hold that ER has on me, I'll be free to watch other things.
It'd be good to binge. I stopped like waiting for the episodes weekly because of COVID. They like postponed a couple of episodes. So I don't even know if there's a new one that I need to watch or whatever. Life update though.
Oh.
Well, I guess a couple of things. I feel like so much has happened since last recording. Like Kayla and I went back to San Antonio. We got our second dose, and we got Kayla's car broke down in Bastrop,
Oh, I
and
totally forgot about that. Yeah.
that feels like so long ago.
It does.
But that happened. Dad, shout out to Dad. He came in
In the
clutch.
middle of the night.
Yeah, it was around like 9 or 10. Got our second dose. Kayla was going through it, but as a
Yeah, I
male, I
guess
have a weak
weak immune system. Yes.
immune system, so I was fine.
I guess that's something that we should talk about. I don't know why I'm like weirdly didn't mention it, but I also am fully vaccinated. And I guess I think I don't know. Do you think people would want to know what happened? I guess the difference between me and you. I think it's important to talk about maybe so people don't get like scared.
Yeah, I mean, so I got Pfizer. Um, if you're a guy, it'll be pretty easy. I feel like.
I mean,
Well, I
maybe
don't want to like make a blanket statement because
it's
some
studies
people
show
get
studies show that that's typically what happens,
right.
but I don't know. It depends.
I was fine. I had a headache. Like first shot, I barely even felt it. Sore in my arm a little bit, but I mean that's just any shot really.
Mhm.
And then, or even the flu shot. Second one, I had a headache a day or two after, and then I was fine. But you describe what you went through, and Kayla is a similar boat.
Yeah. So I mean I've heard I don't want people to be scared and think that because obviously first of all, we're not doctors, so we don't know what we're talking about. Second of all, this is just our experience, so it doesn't mean that it'll happen to you. And you should still, no matter what you think could happen, my bad experience, I still 100% would do it again.
Yeah,
Like
because
that
regardless of what you go through, it's gonna be better than getting than COVID and spreading it to someone else.
exactly. Also, from what I can understand through what people are telling me, the research, is when you do have a bad reaction, a quote unquote bad reaction or a strong reaction, then it means it's working. So it's not like it's actually a good thing. Anyway, so the first one, same, I was pretty sore, but I usually get pretty sore during when I get my flu shot. So it was kind of like that. The second time, so I was fine most of the day. First of all, the lady that did it, I don't think she was having a good day because she like jabbed it into my arm. I've
Nice.
never had that happen before, where she just like she actually stuck it in me. So fuck you, lady, if you're listening. Second of all, at the HEB, no, I'm kidding. So after that, I got the shot. I came home. I was able to work all day, like I was fine. And then when I got to bed, I started to feel pretty sore, and not just in my arm that had the shot, obviously, and it was my right arm. That was pretty sore. Like it hurt kind of badly. And then I started to get sore like everywhere and have like some body aches, but then
Mhm.
I kind of expected that. I felt a little warm, so I was like, oh, it's okay, this is fine. And then I went to bed. And then I woke up in the middle of the night and I like I move a lot in my sleep, so I tried to like turn over and holy shit. It that was the most sore I think I've ever been. My arm hurt like so bad. And
Ouch.
then I got up and I went to the bathroom because I had to pee like so bad. So I went to the bathroom and I didn't realize until I went in there that I looked in the mirror and I was like hunched over and I was shaking. And it was like I was like not like shaking like that, like vibrating, like I think Kayla said she was vibrating. I was like my body just kept like having like twitches is what it felt
Right.
like. So then I went to bed and Sebastian was like, "Are you okay?" And then he said all I did was I just lay down and I went, "Oh." And then I went to bed.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I was sore, I had body aches, and then when I woke up in the morning, um, I was sweating a ton, but I was cold,
Right.
and then I had to call in. I, like, texted my boss, and I was like, "Dude, I can't come in today. I can't even log in." It was pretty bad. Um, and I don't even remember emailing, or I think I messaged her. I don't remember doing that. So sorry, yawn right into the mic. I don't remember doing that at all because I was so tired. That was the big thing, is that I slept almost the entire night, but I was still so tired.
Oh yeah, I was pretty tired there after getting the
Yeah, I
vaccine.
felt just really run down, I guess is the best term for it. Um, yeah, and then in the morning I just drank like a bunch of Gatorade. Um, and then I took, oh no, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, it did the thing it did last time, so I got scared. Um, oh yeah, and then I took some. Oh, I still have some extra strength Tylenol from the extraction. So I
Nice.
took that, and yeah, and then I was fine. At the end of the day, I think I still had a headache, and I still felt like my body still like ached in a weird way, but like not as intense. Yeah, and then I was fine. It
That's
was weird
crazy.
because usually I've only had the flu like maybe, or the last time I had it was in high school. And it was almost exactly like that, but that one lasted a couple of days. This one was literally overnight. It was so strange, and it felt
Yeah,
like I
that's
just needed a day to recover.
that's how Kayla was.
Yeah, it was weird. Like right now, I feel completely fine, and this was on Wednesday, so
Last
almost a
yeah,
week.
okay.
Yeah, but I feel incredibly lucky to have had both doses, and to not. I mean, and to have a bad reaction. That weirdly, I feel very like lucky to have had that, and that was the only thing I've experienced. So,
For
yeah,
sure.
so if you can, get vaccinated.
Get
And
vaxxed up.
yeah. A lot of places are starting to open it up. So if I know I would assume a lot of our listeners are in Texas. Probably not, but yeah. And Texas opened it up to everybody. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so please get vaccinated. We're almost done, guys.
What a good note.
Yeah,
Let's cut to the break.
let's do it. Ted Kramer's wife leaves him, allowing for a lost bond to be rediscovered between Ted and his son Billy. But a heated custody battle ensues over a divorced couple's son, deepening the wounds left by the separation in Kramer versus Kramer. Directed by Robert Benton, whoa. Based on the novel by Avery Corman, written for the screen by Robert Benton. I can't say that last name. Am I saying it weird?
No, you're fine. You said it
Oh, okay.
weird the first time because you said Benton, but
Benton. There's an ER
oh my
character named Benton, and I always say Bennett, and now I just it in my brain it just breaks.
Robert
Starring Dustin,
Benton.
starring Dustin Hoffman, Meryl Streep, and Jane Alexander.
As for how much it cost, was about $8 million. Opening weekend, it made about 106 million, and that's how much it grossed in the U.S. Critics gave it a 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb, an 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 77% on Metacritic. Let's get into it. Kramer
All
versus
right,
Kramer.
we start with Joanna. Oh, first of all, is there anything you knew about this movie? I don't know if we said that last time, but just to refresh.
I knew nothing.
I mean, I knew
I,
it was a divorce movie, but that's all I knew.
I didn't know. I didn't know this movie existed.
Cool. Okay. So we start with Joanna, played by Meryl Streep. She's putting her son Billy to bed. Then she goes to her closet, pulls out some luggage, and she's packing her shit. And then we meet Ted, played by Dustin Hoffman, and he's at work. He's telling his boss some story. And he's staying out pretty late. I like that they use the like, I guess, first example of showing and not telling is one of the other guys at the office is like, I think they ask him like, "Oh, where are you going?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm going home."
Right.
Like he is going to his presumably a family. And Dustin Hoffman's like, okay, well, let me finish this story real quick. Like he's not concerned at all about
Right.
going home. And all the while his wife is packing up all of her shit. She even stays up and waits for him. I thought she was just gonna leave. But she stays up, she waits for him to come home, and when he does, he doesn't even notice that anything's wrong until she literally says out loud, "I'm leaving you." And she has to say it twice because he is too busy talking about his day to even notice that she is like about on the verge of losing it.
If she
Um
left, I wonder how long it would have taken him to realize that she wasn't there.
Probably a while. And then we realize that she's thought this entire thing out. She's telling him exactly what's going to happen, that she paid off everything, that she took out $2,000 and she's going to leave. And he's super confused and he tries to stop her, but nothing's really working. At first, he thinks that she's joking, I think, or that what some people, a lot of men think, like, oh, she's just like acting out kind of thing, or like what people would say for kids, like, oh, they're just acting out.
Yeah.
But nope, she leaves. She says that she can't take her son. Because I think he mentions like, well, what about Billy? And she's like, well, I'm just not good for him. Which is a very worrying thing. I was like, ooh, what's she gonna do? And then she leaves. And then Margaret, who we learn is a friend of the couple, she lives, I think, in the same apartment building, but like downstairs. She comes over after Joanna leaves because she's worried about Joanna. And she kind of defends Joanna's decision to Ted, which pisses him off. And something I want to note is that Margaret describes Joanna as a very unhappy person. I think that's what she said, right? She's very unhappy. But I have to say that I do have the same reaction that Ted did. I mean, you can tell that she's unhappy. And I forget how he said it, but it was so affecting. But like, how could you just walk out on your kid? I understand maybe leaving your husband, but just not wanting to see your
Yeah.
kid anymore is kind of strange.
Yeah. And this, like, just. I don't really care for any of the characters, but I care for
Billy.
Joanna the least because of that. I'm just like,
Ooh.
why would you do that?
At this moment, or do you think throughout the whole movie?
Probably throughout the whole movie.
Okay. Interesting. So you're a misogynist. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the next morning is a complete mess. This is the first morning that they have without Joanna, and Ted has no idea how to do anything. Like the way that he cracks his eggs, that's how I imagine that you make breakfast, honestly, where you're like cracking your eggs in a mug and you're dishing out the fucking shells.
That's funny because I feel like in the cooking aspect, Ted and I probably have gone through the same journey throughout this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot stress enough how sad it was to watch you make a peanut butter sandwich.
Yeah,
one
well,
time.
okay, whatever. So I'm just gonna go straight into it. How
Okay.
this kind of like comes back because Ted becomes a decent father, right? I mean, there's no like perfect father, but he learns how to make French toast the right way. And honestly, the one of the only things I can take from this movie is that I now know what it takes to make French toast because I had previously no idea.
Really?
To be honest, I didn't. I knew.
Oh, man, I wish I would have asked that question. Like, what do you think? Do you even know now? Like, do you actually know?
Yeah, like eggs, milk. You could put like vanilla or cinnamon. But
Okay.
before, I had no idea what was in that, like what you dipped in. I know it was toast, right?
You
But I
didn't know
didn't
it
know
was
what.
eggs?
I had no idea.
Are you serious?
I'm 100% serious.
How old are you?
I'm 20, about to be 21. I did
Got it.
not
All right,
know.
let's go. So then Ted goes to work and he's kind of venting to his boss about it. Instead of, I thought the boss would be like, okay, well, let's figure this out. I mean, that's kind of shitty for her to just like leave like that. But her boss is like, dude, I need you.
Yeah.
He says, Oh, well, first they like laugh about it, where I think it's Ted is kind of still in shock, where he's like, "Well, she's gonna come back." Like he keeps
Right.
saying, "Well, I can do this until she comes back," and then the boss is kind of like, "Well, if she doesn't?" Like I think
Worst
he,
case.
yeah, exactly. But I also now thinking back at it, because especially how the boss is, where he's like, "You need to be here 100%." I guarantee almost every man that's worked with this guy has gone through divorce.
Oh,
And so he
probably.
like knows about it, because I mean, what he's asking these men, what these people to do, I'm assuming he only asks the men, because this guy doesn't seem like a, you know,
He probably doesn't hire women for
or
anything
yeah, for
other
anything
than
like that.
an
So
assistant.
yeah, for what he's asking for these guys, like they, unless you're single, there's no fucking way that you can provide that. Especially like all the things, I should have written it down, but all the things he was telling him, he was like, I need you to be available 24 hours. I need you to be, all these things that kids need you for. Like your child needs that. Nobody else needs that but your kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the boss has the audacity to ask Ted, well, why can you just send him to a relative?
Yeah. Oh my
That pissed me off.
At this point, it's just like, why? I get the workplace has changed a lot. A lot of companies are still like this, but there's a lot of companies that are still like that care about their employees. And it's just like, I'd hate to be Ted in that. Oh, he's not a good person at this point. I feel like he gets a little bit better, but he's definitely putting his work over his family to let it get to this point. But it's just at this
I
point
will
when I was
say
watching
though,
it, it just bothered me that people get put in this position. It's
yeah,
annoying.
I will say I'm surprised that he didn't. Like, I feel like if he was completely a bad person, then he would have sent his kid away.
Oh
But
yeah,
he never
that's
did
true.
that. So even though that was like the option, he was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. Um, yeah. But also, what was I gonna say? Oh, I can't. Yeah, I was trying to imagine what I would do if my boss ever, even if my boss right now was like, hey, I think that you should bring Ari to your parents' house. I'd lose my shit.
I'm out, bro.
And that he's a cat. I mean, he needs me, but like he's a fucking cat, Like I can't even fucking imagine what I would do. She told me that.
Yeah, this movie made me think of that a lot, especially later. It's just like,
Hmm.
whoa, because it's a very sticky situation that is very possible. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what'll happen?
And then we're back at home and the mom sends a letter, but just to Billy. And she's basically telling him, like, hey, I really liked being your mom. It was pretty chill, but like I'm not coming back.
Spring break, sucker.
She's like, um, I think right now I need to explore being a long distance mom. I think that's
Yeah.
what's really good for me. And this kid is amazing. The fact that he just turned on the TV and then
Uh,
the dad tried to like take away the remote and he's like, no, I don't want to hear the rest of it. Good for him. I would have been like, well, yeah, let me read the rest. And like, I
yeah,
would have stewed in
whatever.
that. I would have been so pissed. But the kid's like, I don't fucking care. Oh, and he's like, we'll read it later. And the kid's like, no, I don't care. I think he literally said, I don't care. Um, and then Ted goes on a mission to get rid of everything that's hers, which I think I would do too. I would be pissed.
Yeah, I I don't know if I would just like sell it, get something from it. Yeah, honestly.
Go to a pawn shop and they're like, well, sir, this is a picture of a woman. Yeah, but that's Meryl Streep. Do you know how much that's worth? And this whole time, I think the theme of this movie is I just feel so bad for Billy.
Yeah.
But the way that he walked to bed, I think they were having dinner or something, and the way that he walked to bed, just like his head was just hanging, like in Arrested Development, George Michael, when
Mm,
he's just like walking
yeah.
all sad. It was so sad to watch. He just looked so upset. And then we get to Ted, or we get to see Ted like starting to kind of get the hang of things. But he's not really meeting the expectations that he should be at work. Billy's also not having a great time. He starts acting out a ton. And I want to talk very fast about the kid in this movie because he's so goddamn good.
Hmm.
Like this moment, one of my favorite moments of this movie, probably my favorite moment, is whenever Ted is putting Billy to sleep, and he asks him. Billy asks him. Now this is an older movie, so I'm giving it obviously the benefit of it probably setting a bunch of precedents. But I feel like now a lot of movies are very derivative of this moment. And so I feel like maybe I'm wrong if somebody can correct me, but I feel like this moment is like seen a lot in movies, and this might have been the way that it started. But basically, Billy asks him, like, was it my fault that mom
Uh,
left? Like, I feel like I wasn't good enough. Maybe I was being a bad kid, all that. Um, and then Ted tells him, no, like it was probably, he was like talking to him like an adult, which I really like. You don't get to see that a ton in movies.
yeah.
And so I like that he's like, no, it was me. She's very upset, or she was just like not happy, and I wasn't paying attention. Like we can start to see Ted kind of understanding his role in this thing. And I do think that he's not that he's trying to just comfort Billy, but I do think he really understands what happened. But yeah, this conversation is just so good. But back to Billy. So he is played by an actor named Justin Henry, and he was actually nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role at the Academy Awards. And Henry at the age I read it that weird, but he was 8 whenever he was nominated. But he became the youngest person to be nominated for this award, as well as the youngest Oscar nominee in any category, a record which still stands today. Well, as of 2020, I don't think that has been broken though, so we can confidently say as of today. Which I didn't know that. I had no idea he was nominated, but he deserved it. He was pretty good.
Yeah, it was okay.
Then, well, there's one moment where I was like, yeah, he deserved that Oscar towards the
Oh,
end. Um,
I see. Okay.
at the park. And then Ted gets a date. And I like that. Well, not really a date. So they like it's a weird moment where he asks her he doesn't really ask her on a date, but she's like, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. But then it just cuts to them naked in bed. So like, yeah, I guess that's the date. And just not wasting any time. And then Billy sees her naked, and it's very strange because it made me so uncomfortable because I think she was actually naked in front of him, which is very strange.
Oh, yeah, the way it was cut, like you could see both of them in the frame. That's weird. I was thinking of that too, but it also bothered me that they had a whole conversation.
Yeah, like why not just run into the room? Like why would you just stand out there?
Nice to meet you. So weird. Get
But
out of there.
I didn't put this in there, but I did read that like Billy or the kid that played him, that he actually was like that. Like she was like scared that she would traumatize him, the actress. So she was super nervous about it, but when it
Oh,
actually happened, he just like yawned and just walked away. And so she was like, "Oh, okay." So maybe, I
that's
mean,
funny.
I don't know. The ethics of that, I don't know, but I guess kids are just not. They like it's so strange to just think that he was just working. He's like 8 years old and
Yeah.
he's just fucking working. He's like, another day at the office, just a naked woman in front of me. Shortly after, a very traumatic scene of Billy falling at the park. But older movies are funny because this scene was just the way it was cut. Because they obviously they can't have like special like makeup, or I guess, or graphics. They just look like you just smeared blood on him, and the way
Yeah.
that fall scene was cut was very funny to me.
Yeah, there's that, and there's like the Foley of him crying, like because you
Yeah,
know that it's or like the after, like dubbed in,
yeah.
especially when
That,
he's running.
and I think I didn't. I wish they. I mean, I'm sure they did the best they could, obviously at this time, but I didn't realize how big of a deal that injury was. Like it just looked like he just cut his head, and I mean, kids' heads or anybody, if you cut your head, it'll no matter how big the cut is, it's gonna bleed a lot. That's just how it happens. And so I didn't think it was that bad of an injury until the court scene. And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I guess it was bad." Um but yeah, and then this part just made me think how weird it must be a kid actor. Because I mean, I guess any actor, if you have a parent in the movie, then like it's weird to call somebody else mom or dad. But for a child, like I wonder how you explain that to them. Maybe I'm
Oh,
just like,
yeah, especially oh my gosh. Especially if like it's written in the script that you have to kiss this other random man on the mouth.
did
That
they kiss
bothered
on the
me.
mouth?
They kissed on the mouth. It bothered me so much, bro.
I don't know if I noticed that. Or I don't know. One thing I like about older movies that I've noticed is that a lot of, I don't know if this is just like a maybe a masculinity thing that's started to pop up in the, once start getting to like the 2000s. But in a lot of old movies, dads call their sons honey a lot. Did you notice that? He would like be like honey, like
Yeah, they did.
I really like that. I like calling like you calling your kid honey. That's just very like sweet to me.
Yeah, but
Pun intended.
not the Tom Brady kiss on the mouth. I don't have that.
It wasn't that dramatic, was it?
It happens multiple times, and it's like straight on the mouth.
Yeah, but I don't know, kids. The way Tom Brady does it is very fucking weird.
No,
Well, like
but it's
that's like a thing. I don't know.
no, it's just because like it's not like they're not really
I see what you
related.
mean. Like you still are like, yeah, but that's not your dad.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I get what you mean.
And like it's like he got paid for that. That seems weird. All right, kid, you're gonna see this naked lady, but you're also gonna kiss Dustin Hoffman.
on the mouth. Yeah, you're right. That is fucking weird. But speaking of the parents, Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep would often jokingly try to get Justin Henry, who plays Billy, to pick one of them over the other. One day on set, Hoffman asked Henry who he'd rather be with, and Henry said to her, "She's nicer," like talking about Meryl Streep. But Hoffman said, "Oh yeah, we'll work with her for 5 weeks and then see what you say."
Oof.
But I wonder too. I just wonder what that's like. I mean, I'm assuming his parents were on set, but I don't know. Just to did he actually tell, like, was he actually kind of parenting him throughout? You know what I mean? Like, what's that dynamic?
I don't
When you
know.
yell cut, is it just like you just sit there as colleagues? Like, what is that?
I don't know, but it does make me think of a sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
Macaulay Culkin, a kid actor,
Yeah.
had a baby with Brenda Song.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know
Somebody-
that they were together. Congrats for them.
I did. I don't know why people didn't know that. I thought
had
that was a
absolutely
commonly
no
known
idea.
thing. I did like when somebody I should have sent it to you so you could tweet on the brother sister podcast Twitter, but somebody was like Brenda Song, best actor in The Social Network, had a baby or something like that.
That's funny.
She was really. I don't think people talk about her enough in that movie. She was so good in that
Oh,
movie.
very good.
All right. So Billy gets stitches. I like this moment because it's just I guess another bonding moment between Billy and Ted, because I feel like at the beginning they start off as strangers, kind of, where that's just like the kid that lives in his apartment kind of thing. But now they're actually like bonding and building a relationship. And then Joanna calls, and it's very tense. So Ted meets her at a restaurant, and we learn a couple of things. So we learn that she's been there for 2 months in New York. And we also learn that she just watches Billy from a coffee shop when he's at school, which is very strange. And then she tells him that she wants Billy back. And I don't know if they talked about this, but this is the first time I'd learned she's been gone for 15 months.
Yeah, they kind of, though. I like how they don't really tell. I mean, until this moment, but you can kind of tell with the way that Ted is grown, obviously with Billy, but also with Margaret. Like they're better friends.
I didn't even mention that in the notes, but I love their friendship.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why. I mean, I guess because it's an older movie, or because I'm used to this, but I thought they were gonna like fall in love or something. Spoiler alert, they don't. But I like that. Like, I like that they're just like friends. Especially with the way they started out. He was pretty pissed at her. Yeah, so Ted. Oh, so they're at the restaurant. And so this is kind of this is a very controversial scene, because it's a good scene. Because before Ted leaves, he's obviously pissed. So he like they say throw, but it looks like he just like pushes. I guess throw. He throws a wine glass against the wall. So when he did that, that was actually not planned. The only person he told he was going to do that, Dustin Hoffman, was the cameraman, to make sure that he got it in the shot. But Streep's shocked reaction was real, but she stayed in character long enough for the writer and director to yell cut. I didn't want to say his name again. And in the documentary on the DVD, she recalls yelling at Hoffman as soon as the shot was over for scaring her so badly.
You know, this makes me think of two things. One, that's really cool. Like,
Is it cool or is it like unnecessary?
it's cool in the fact that like no one, they just do whatever they want. These actors, they do whatever they want.
I
But
think
it's
it's
also,
damaging though.
oh, for sure. I mean, at least tell her why. Like, why you gotta do that?
I don't know why you wouldn't tell her. I mean, I guess you're.
I just want the genuine reaction, maybe. But
it's Meryl Streep.
yeah,
Also, I mean, and I read this note before because I sometimes I read the fun facts before so I know where to put them in. So I read this before and I was like, oh, okay, like well, I guess we'll see what this is. It wasn't even that big of a reaction. Like she could have done that.
oh yeah, and she
Or
could have got hurt.
Exactly. Like that's what makes me upset. Where I get, I mean, I don't know, and this actually brings up something that I kind of want to talk about because so and the thing too is that it's always fucking men doing it. If she would have done it, I feel like she would have. I mean, maybe not. Maybe she wouldn't have. But I feel like if she would have done it, she would have warned him, or she would have been like, "Hey, can I like? Is it okay if I try something? You know, like something like that. Just like, why would you not? Especially it was so fucking close to her, and I think he hit her. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 80% sure that he hit her.
Maybe he hit her hand or something.
But it makes me think of somebody called out on I think it was on TikTok, this really famous scene in Django Unchained when Leonardo DiCaprio like slams a glass on the table and he like cuts his hand pretty deeply. That scene, a lot of people talk about that scene and it's very famous because he kept going and because he actually hurt himself. But something that people, and I really used to really like that scene too, but something that somebody brought up is after that he rubs blood on Kerry Washington's face. And what I thought happened, I guess this was naive. I guess I should have known that he didn't like do what I thought. I thought that they originally got the scene of him cutting his hand and then they like, you know, bandaged it or they did something and then the director was like, "Oh, well that was kind of cool though, so let's try this." He didn't tell her he was going to do that. That was his real blood.
That's gross.
That's disgusting. And then like that's what people are trying to say like, okay, I guess that's a cool thing that happened and he kept going, but like why would he do that? And why would you not at least cut and be like, I have this idea, can I try it? And ask her. Like what is with these actors thinking that they can just do whatever the fuck they want? And one part it's cool that you can like create something in the moment like that, but you have to do it with your other co-stars.
Yeah, the entitlement, I guess, is just too much. That's crazy.
Yeah, but from what I've read, and I have a lot more notes about this, but Dustin Hoffman was just a fucking asshole throughout this entire filming. Like he was the worst throughout this.
Well, let's get to it. I want to hear.
Okay, so Ted then sees a lawyer, and the guy and the guy says he's gonna play rough, and that's when I realize that I'm watching Marriage Story.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
Exactly.
I mean, Marriage Story just feels like a fucking Snyder cut of this movie because we get to see the other lawyer. We get to see like more of, or we don't even get to see the court scenes, right? Oh, no, we do.
I don't really remember.
But yeah, yes. They have a kid. They have going through a rough divorce. Like it just, I was like, how did I not see
They both like work in the same industry.
One of them is a shitty father. Yeah, it just, ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I should have looked that up, like the comparison, but it feels very egregious to me how much this movie is just ripped off.
I thought of it.
Somebody's gonna get mad when I say that.
I thought of it specifically after the court scenes. I don't know why.
A little bit sparked in me when he was reading the letter and he started crying.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, that's kind of Marriage Story-ish. And then I saw the lawyer and I was like, oh.
Yikes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't shit on that movie too much because I feel like divorce is probably just like this in general, where the lawyer's
Yeah.
like, well, we got to go for her. We got to be rough. So maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
But the overall, there's a lot of parallels.
But what I'm saying is that because there's parallels within the movies or within divorce itself?
No, I think within the movies.
And so we get some even more bad news after this. Ted gets fired. But he tries his hardest to get a new job after this. That guy's a fucking asshole, his boss. But he tries his best. He even has an interview doing a Christmas party because it's right before Christmas. I think like the Friday before Christmas is what they said. And he basically tells them, because I think the point was that he needed a job
for the case.
Yeah, this is also something that happened in ER.
Oh,
where he needed like in ER, the guy needed a better schedule, and he just said that he could get it, and so he was like scrambling to try to find a place that would accommodate. So it's kind of the same where he's like, "Yeah, I have a job," and then like under the desk, he's like texting people like, "Can I have a
Can I
job?"
have a job? I just wanted to say, going back a little bit to when he gets fired,
Mhm.
and he's like at lunch. I can't stop. I couldn't stop thinking about what I would do in that situation, and I would like to think that I would do something similar to what he did, which I thought he was gonna blow up and like make a huge scene, but he was just like I'm what did he say? He said
What are you
like
talking about?
he was like I'm disappointed in you or something to that effect.
Oh yeah. No. What did
You should
he
be
say?
ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
then
would
just
like
leaves.
drop a bomb like that, go thrive somewhere else.
He didn't even finish the meal that he was eating.
I know. I would have liked to say like it's on him or something like that.
Didn't he ask him to pay or something?
I don't remember.
God,
But
you watching your brain work that hard to figure out what he said. That's something wild to see.
Yeah.
But yes, that was a good line. Then after this, Joa
Joa. Wow.
Oh my god. Joanna, we need to stop with these 10 p.m.
Yeah.
Then Joanna requests a visit with Billy. It's really sad to see the way Ted was before Billy went to see her, because this was the first time, because Ted had obviously seen her, but this was the first time Billy'd seen her in a long time. And he was so excited, but Ted, like, it looked like he wanted him to be like remember that she left you, but he was, I mean, that's his mom. He's obviously gonna be excited to see her.
Yeah.
Now we're at the first court date. And this is where I want to talk a little bit about the stenographer. So you know what a stenographer is, right?
Yeah, where they write down all the shit.
Have you seen one of their keyboards?
They're weird. I don't know how they work, but
I don't get it. It looks like they're just like fucking around with everybody. Like it doesn't look real. Yeah.
Oh, it says on
And then they're like, "Well, can you read that last part back?" She's like, "Okay." So he said, and like it's a whole fucking thing, girl. Okay. So this stenographer was actually a real one. Why they needed to hire a real one, I'll never know. But in between takes, Dustin Hoffman would chat with her, and he asked her if she worked on many divorce cases. She replied that she used to, but was too burnt out by the experience, because she found them just too emotionally painful. Instead, she moved to homicide cases, which she said were much easier to handle.
I mean, in her position, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it looks exhausting the way that they were like talking about each other and attacking each other. I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
be around that every day either. Um, Another fun fact about this next courtroom scene is that Meryl Streep wrote it herself. So she wrote her own courtroom speech upon writer and director Robert Benton's suggestion after she told him she wasn't satisfied with the way it was originally written. And I actually really I love the way, so she actually requested a ton of changes to her character, which I love. Because she felt like the story was relying on the audience to understand why Joanna left without letting her express it herself, which I really like because it kind of I could see how it was about to go in that direction. So I'm
Yeah.
glad she changed it. So it was her belief that the character, as written both in the screenplay and the book, was too one-dimensional, an obvious villain for Ted and Billy to react to and change their lives accordingly. Which I like because, I mean, I don't know. I guess moving on to her explanation of why she left, I feel like it's pretty relatable.
Yeah, I will say, like I said, I didn't like any of these characters, but I liked her the least. This when she gave her speech, I was like, okay, but I feel
Mhm.
like ultimately, like, is that enough to leave your kid for that long at such a young age?
Well,
It's like when he's so impressionable.
my question then is, are you the one that can say that about that?
I guess not.
Because, well, the thing that really struck me is that when she's talking about how she didn't think she was good for him, I think she truly believed that. Like, I don't think she's just going off for a vacation. Like, I do think, especially when you're, I mean, it seemed like, I don't want to like diagnose her, but it seemed like she was very depressed. And I've experienced that where you just feel like you're just not good for anybody. You don't want anybody to be around you. It's just that I don't see that as like a far off, like something that's impossible to happen. Well, I
Right.
can very much empathize with that, but I can also see how people that haven't experienced that feeling not being able to. Because I
No.
do think that she truly thought it was the best thing for him. But when she got help and when she started seeing a therapist and when she started to fix herself, that she then felt ready. Because
Yeah.
what's the alternative? So like, yeah, it's shitty that she just went up like and left him. But what was the alternative? That he
Mm,
has a depressed mom and he has to experience that? Like that is that a better solution?
no. Well,
Having a mom that doesn't want you?
I think maybe taking him somewhere else because like what she did from like she obviously doesn't like Ted anymore. So why out of all the people like I don't know their family situation, but out of all the people why leave him with
Because that's his dad.
Yeah, but you could I don't know. I'll get to why I don't like her anymore.
Okay.
But
Well,
I at this point in the movie I get like
I
I
mean,
think where the
I don't think
audience where they wanted the audience to be where it's like I really understood or understood more of why she left and
I mean,
why
I
she
think it's
wants
still
to be
valid
back.
not to like her. Yeah. I also want to point out her salary. I thought that I like that the fun facts had this in there because it was really interesting to me. That she says her salary was $31,000, and when she said that, I was like, "Girl, what?"
Everyone like
Um,
gasped.
I know. Or there was a pause, and the husband was like, "God damn it," and I was thinking, like, "Girl, I've never made that little of money." Just kidding. I have. I've worked for free. But anyways, it just seemed like not a ton. But this was in 1979, so this now would be equivalent to roughly $100,000, a little bit above that. So she was making six figures basically.
Good for her.
Yeah. And man, these court scenes are fucking brutal. They're very hard to watch. Especially when the friend is on the stand, Margaret. She's still honest about what she said to Joanna and how, like, the conversations they had and how she basically told her. I mean, the way that the guy made it seem was like she basically egged her on, but she was being a friend. She was like, "Well, girl, if you're not happy, then you got to get out." Like, that's good advice. But they obviously try to use it against her. But she almost got kicked out because of this, but she did try to defend Ted, where she's like, "Hey, I understand what you're trying to say. Like, I understand your feelings of him back then, but you should." I think she said like, "You should see them now," which I really liked, because I mean that's true. They are a good team, him and Billy.
I don't
Um,
understand why the judge didn't, why they don't listen to, why they didn't listen to Margaret or.
because that's over. Well, first of all, you're not supposed to be talking to the defendants or the people, not defend, but the people that are
Oh
um
yeah,
you're not supposed to talk if there's a jury, or I think whoever makes the decision. So like, I don't know if you watch court cases a lot, but like if you watch them and the people on the stand, when the person is talking to them and they look to the side to answer, it's because they're told you have to look at just the jury when you're answering, because you're talking to them. So she is supposed to be talking to the lawyer that's asking questions, but it's the judge that makes the decision. So the fact that she's not supposed to be talking to either of them.
I know, but the fact that he's like if I were Margaret, I'd be talking to the judge. I'm saying, here, listen to what I have to say. Like that's why she's there, and I just, why is the judge shutting her up? Like,
Because
wouldn't he
she's
want
supposed to
the
be
most
answering questions.
information?
But that's not up to him. That's up to the lawyers to ask those questions.
That's dumb.
But
Carry on.
I mean, that's how it works. You're supposed to only answer the questions that you're asked. You're not supposed to give more. You're not supposed to withhold stuff. So she could have been like that. That's why he told her to shut up, because that's what she was saying is irrelevant. Also, it has to do with emotional like stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's why he was so like, shut up, because he makes his decision, but it's supposed to be, I don't know, but it's supposed to be based on just facts.
Yeah. As
And
impartial
saying,
as possible.
yeah, and saying you should see them together, that has not, well, first of all, nobody asked that. Like, I don't know. I see what you're saying, but that's just, you got to watch more courtroom stuff, my dude. Like, that's how it works.
Yeah.
Um, and I do have to say that I also liked Ted's explanation about why he was a bad parent before. And he basically just said that he didn't pay attention, and that he should have paid attention not only to his son but to his wife. But yeah, I like that. I don't think this movie does pit any of them against each other. I feel like they just show two flawed people trying to argue that they're both very flawed, when like, yeah, they are. Not one, I don't think one is more flawed than the other, because sure, she I quote unquote abandoned them, but who's to say that Ted hadn't been abandoning them from the very beginning? He never went home. So sure, he went home every night, but was he there?
Yeah.
And I
Well,
think like
no, he wasn't, but
what she said later is like, sure, I understand that you're pissed, and it was shitty of me to leave for like almost over a year, but I've been raising him for 5 years on my own. So
that's
like,
true. What do you do? The bare minimum? You think you got it all?
yeah, and that's when I was like, she's right. Like, just because, I mean, if we're looking at the facts of it, what it took him to step up was her literally being like, I'm not going to take care of him. You have to, like, not giving him any sort of leniency, just
Who
saying
knows how
you
long
got
it
to
would
do
have
it.
taken
Exactly.
if he would have even ever done it.
So I don't. That's what I like about this movie, is that they're very, very flawed, and I don't think one is more flawed than the other.
Yeah.
But they're people. I mean, I think this movie is just good about like, sure, parents are parents, but they're also fucking people. So I don't know. Oh, and so I used to not understand, and I guess I do understand now. But when people would say like, "Oh, like he went through a nasty divorce," I never really understood what that meant. Like, is it just because they hated each other? Like, what does that mean? But now I get it, because you're basically your entire relationship. Like, imagine having the worst fight in your relationship and then going to court and talking about it and having
Including
lawyers dissect it.
yeah, including so
And
many people.
yeah, and having y'all's roommates come in and testify, and they ask about your character. Like, just imagine that. So
That
now I
seems
was like, I see why the
insane.
stenographer is like burnt out, because that's fucking exhausting.
Yeah, when Ted writes down the pros and cons, the cons,
Just a list.
and then the pros, he doesn't even finish it.
And then another thing I didn't think about, and this kind of plays in Marriage Story too, but you basically, well, I guess now on to the decision. They made a decision, and Ted meets his lawyer to find out that Joanna won. And I really like, so he he said like, well, can we appeal it? Like what can we do? And then the guy was like, yeah, but that's gonna be a lot of money, guy. Like that's gonna be a tons of money. And that's another fucking rough thing about divorce, is that you basically have to figure out how much your child is worth fighting for. Like he either has to say no or he has to spend a ton of money. And
And
there is one line in Marriage Story I kept thinking of, that I liked, as I think it was Adam Driver, because I thought it was in this movie, but I think it was in that movie where he says, I want him to know I fought for him. Like that's why he wanted to do the divorce proceeding, because I think that's what the core of this movie is. Like that's why I don't think, I mean, we'll see at the end, obviously, but that's why Joanna wanted to do this, not because she actually really wanted to keep him. I think she did, but like, I think most of it is that she just felt so bad and she wanted her son to know that she wanted him.
yeah, and I wonder if later on, if Billy's ever, or if the ending was different, and or if Billy would be like, why didn't you fight harder? Like, I mean, it's just rough.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, and so this moment after Joanna wins, Ted tells Billy, and he cries a ton, but it's not just like, kid fake crying. Like he is crying. And that's
Yeah.
when I was like, oh yeah, he deserved that nomination. Cuz I mean, he did a better crying scene than a lot of adult actors that I've seen.
I wonder what the notes were, or like if like what got him there.
Yeah. I just wonder how you direct a kid.
Just
I
cry.
don't
No.
Yeah, in ER there's a lot of like babies, like not ones that can speak, and they're always crying. And I wonder how, I mean, I
I
guess you
don't
just
think that's
take it
hard
away
to
from
do.
that kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's so like, ugh. I have to mute it every time, 'cause God, these little guys are so goddamn loud.
Oh yeah, that's one thing about this movie. It's just like one big ad for not having them.
Not having kids. Not getting married, yeah. That's true. Um Oh, and the next morning before Billy has to leave, I love this moment. It's just a very quiet moment of them making breakfast, like you said, just subtly showing Ted's growth. And I really love that. I just like that, in the first scene where they're making breakfast, Billy has to do a lot and he's like telling him where everything is. The guy's confused. He's just like, ugh, it was rough. But then this one, they have, not only do I like that we can see Ted knows what he's doing, but we see that they're working together and that they're like very, like they're a team. Like
They
what,
got a whole routine going.
yeah, or it's the example of exactly what Margaret said, where she said you should see them together. Like we're seeing them together, and that's how it just feels right that they're together and that they're making breakfast together and they're showing you how
Yeah.
to make French toast, Anthony.
Yeah, that's how I learned. It's
Dude,
because
this
it's
movie.
like, yeah,
You should
that's
you
the
told
only.
Kayla, I found this really cool recipe for French
Yeah,
toast, and you just play the movie. But we have to watch the entire thing first. Sorry, one.
I don't even remember at this
I'm
point.
sorry.
You're okay. Just keep on going.
Um. Oh yeah. Okay. So Joanna gets to the apartment, but I think she tells Ted to go like downstairs, to meet her downstairs. Um, and she basically tells him like, I came here. Oh, I love this like whole interaction. But she says, I came here to take my son, or to take Billy home, but then I realized that he was already home. I love that line. It's so good. So she decided not to
Eyes,
take him.
eyes rolling. This is at the point I'm like, what, bro? Like,
Are you
what?
mad because she took him through the whole like proceedings and decided not to take him?
Not now because it makes sense that what you said, like she just wanted him to know that she fought for him. But at the time, I was like, bro, all that. I was mainly upset because this movie was just nothing happened. I mean, like stuff happened, but it could have ended with "I'm leaving."
But I think that that's the point, though, and I think I maybe well, I'm not a parent, but I was gonna say like maybe we should have gotten a parent's perspective because I feel like that was it. That was the whole struggle of it is that she just wanted to. She didn't want to just roll over and say, "Yeah, you can have my kid," even though she kind of did that by leaving, but I think it's just the message that she wants to send him, where she's like, "I really wanted to keep you, but when I left, I saw that like this is the dynamic that's best." And I don't
Yeah,
think she's ever gonna. I don't think she's actually gonna abandon him. Like I think she's obviously gonna still like co-parent, but
yeah, for sure. It's just funny the whole thing.
yeah, but I think
Actually,
I understood it though.
yeah, no, I get it. I get it now more that like I think about it more. But it's
That
just
is
funny.
kind of funny though.
It's like you just spent.
He's like, okay, but can you like give me that money back, girl? You make $100,000. Can I have
Yeah, you
some of
spent
that?
like 40,000 or whatever,
I
like
spent
11,000,
40,000 for my fucking lawyer to call you a bitch. That's what happened.
and I'm still keeping the kid. So like, what's new?
Oh, now I have to make French toast every goddamn day because I can't afford anything
I
else.
wanted this kid to be gone.
All right. So the last scene, the last or not the last fun fact, but in the last scene, Joanna asks how she looks and Ted says terrific, but this was actually unscripted. It was a moment that actually happened between Streep and Hoffman as they were preparing off screen. Benton observed it and decided to add it to the movie. I thought I liked it as a last scene.
Yeah, it was good.
I think if we at first I was like, I wonder if I would have liked seeing the conversation she had with Billy, but I don't think I would have. I like knowing what's gonna like. I feel like we know what she was gonna tell him.
Yeah.
We didn't need to see it. Yeah. All right. So a couple more fun facts. Well, I guess this isn't. This is basically um, describing how Dustin Hoffman was a fucking asshole. So the strength of the performances of the two leads can be at least partly attributed to what was going on in their private lives at the time. Dustin Hoffman was in the midst of a messy divorce during this movie, while Meryl Streep was still recovering from the death of her lover John Cazale. So Hoffman actually contributed many personal moments and dialogue to the movie, so much so that the writer and director offered to share screenplay credit, but he turned it down. And I also want to bring something that irritated me so much. And this is what I was talking about Dustin Hoffman's an asshole. So he treated Meryl Streep very horribly on set. So aside from hitting her in that wine glass scene, because he did hit her. If you watch it again, I think he hit her arm or something. He reportedly whispered John Cazale's name in her ear in order to get a reaction from her. And like I said, Cazale was Streep's lover who died in 1978, a year before the movie came out, and probably when, like, right when it filmed, um, died of cancer, and she was still recovering from that during the time of filming.
What's the point? She doesn't need that to get a.
Exactly. She's Meryl Streep. Like, why would you need to do that? I mean, if she needs to pull that from, like, that's the whole thing. If she needs to pull that from her own, like, experiences to get there in a scene, that's up to her. Why are you forcing that on her? Yeah. Oh, and then I don't know why I didn't put this, but she said that in an interview, she said that she would never work with him again. And I agree. I will never work with him.
Yeah.
You will never catch me in a movie with Dustin Hoffman. I'll tell you that.
Let it be known.
They offer me a part in his next film, and I say yes instantly. I'm gonna tell you to edit this out of the final cut. All right, I liked it. I feel like you didn't like it.
No, it was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the greatest. I could see how, like, when did this come out? Whatever.
79.
Like coming out of the theater thinking,
I
My
think this
God,
was the highest grossing film of that year.
yeah, I could see people like walking out thinking, "Wow, that was good," because that's how I felt when I watched Marriage Story. No, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I mean, it's just I think it's funny that it just all was for nothing. But I mean, that could easily happen in real life. So,
I think I could have used more Adam Driver in this one, but
oh, definitely. What if he was the kid?
I was just about to say that, but I was trying to do the age, like the math in my mind.
Oh, I don't care. It would have been funny though.
But yeah, um, I liked it a lot. I am surprised how much I liked it. I mean, I would say, do you think? I don't know. I guess we should. I don't know if we should have like a certain question we ask about these classics, like do they hold up, kind of thing.
I
I
think
think
it
it
held
holds
up.
up.
I think it held up. I think
Same.
divorce is still a thing. So, and I'm sure I've never been through it. Hopefully, I won't. But I think this is a glimpse, a good glimpse into what divorce is like, especially with the kid so
Oh,
young.
it's like a nightmare. Yeah. Hmm. All right. What prop did you steal? I'd steal the airplane. I almost cut his eye open.
Would you want the part that was like in his face?
Just the whole thing.
Hmm. I'd like some of either some of the art in his office or the mug that they used to have the French toast.
Oh yeah. That's good. I want. I would say I like Dustin Hoffman's like outfits in it, but he is such a tiny guy.
Yeah.
There's
Or
no
some of the
way.
pictures of Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah, the one that the kid had in his dresser.
Yeah.
Such a big frame.
It's
8 by
weird.
10.
And the full 8x10 just by herself. The audacity. That's the one thing. Like they're New Yorkers. They're very bold.
What?
They're just very bold.
You know New Yorkers.
You know, infamous for their boldness.
What? In New York, we're bold.
New York, we're bold and we're proud.
You know New Yorkers. Sorry. I don't know why that's so funny to me. All right, you ready to do the game? Sorry.
Yeah. So if this is your first time listening, while Livy does whatever that is, we're gonna play a family tree game. So if you guys are familiar with the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, that's essentially what it is. Take one movie from the movie, or oh my god, take one actor from the movie I picked last episode, and Livy will pick one actor from this movie, and we'll try to connect them. Person with the least amount of degrees in between the two actors will
Loser.
wins.
Oh yeah,
No. I don't know what that was. But
sorry. You said least, and I just instantly thought lose.
loser.
But yes, wins. My bad.
And the loser has to watch a movie that the winner picks.
Yes. All right.
So I'll go first since it was my pick last time, which was Palm Springs. I'm just gonna go with Andy Samberg.
Of course. Well, I'm gonna go with Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. Okay. Sounds good. 5 minutes on the clock. Let's go.
Okay, so I did mine within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 degrees. And it is as follows. So Meryl Streep is in Into the Woods with Emily Blunt.
Okay.
Emily Blunt is in The Quiet Place with John Krasinski. Did we?
Yes.
It's the same.
No.
Oh, okay. One day we're gonna do the same exact one.
Yeah.
John Krasinski is in The Office with Jenna Fisher. Jenna Fisher is in Blades of Glory with Amy Poehler. Amy Poehler is in Parks and Recreation with Andy Samberg. He was a guest star.
Interesting. I didn't use any shows. I used movies. So mine is also 5 degrees. So actor to actor is 1 degree, right? One,
Mhm.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. I'll start with Andy Samberg. Andy Samberg. I already don't know if this is right. Was in Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
Do you want me to confirm right now?
Yes. Well, I'll keep on going.
What did you say?
Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
That's correct.
Okay. There's another one I'm a little unsure. And Imogen Poots was in that one.
Was she?
Imogen Poots was in Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Who was in Green Room with Sir Patrick Stewart. Sir Patrick Stewart was in X-Men Days of Future Past with Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence was in Hunger Games with Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci was in The Devil Wears Prada with Meryl Streep. So that is my...
Imogen Poots is in Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping.
I was also surprised. So here's my technique now of doing research. I'm like, okay, what's Andy Samberg in? I'll like pick a movie. So I picked Pop Star. I tried to remember Never Stop, Never Stopping because that sounds stupid. And I just like looked at the cast and I saw Imogen Poots. I was like, oh, I could use that. And then I did the same for Meryl Streep. I was like, what is she in? Everything.
Oh my god. Oh wait, no, never mind. I thought I could have done a quicker one. Oh, but I don't know why I didn't do Meryl Streep was in Devil Wears Prada with Emily Blunt. I did Into the Woods, which I've never seen.
Stupid. Okay, so we both have 2 valid
Yeah.
degree things. So we go
I
into
will
our
say it's
tiebreaker.
Hunger Games, not Hunger Games, but I'll give you that.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine.
The Hunger Games. Okay, in the event of a tie, a third party, a producer, if you will, comes up with a random actor and we must guess the age, and the closest wins. Kayla is going to be our third party today. So we both got it and we both tied. Both had 5 degrees. So if you could come up with an actor and we'll guess the age.
Okay.
Antonio Banderas.
Oh, that's good.
That's a
Wait,
good
write
one.
it down. Write it down for
Oh, wait, what do you
No.
mean?
write down what the age is.
Wait, I can. She has to.
No, I'm
Can you look
saying
up-
you write down what your guess is.
Oh, right down, I get it.
So
You
that
have
we
it?
know that
Not yet.
nobody's cheating.
And put his full birthday.
There's no way we're both going to get his... Okay,
You
yeah.
might.
Okay. Put his birth date as well.
What?
If we get it at the same time, the next tiebreaker is his full birthday date.
Oh, I'm so bad at ages. Why did we make this though? This is so off, but I'm gonna go with it.
Wait, I got to do the math. How old would he be if he was this? Whatever. Okay.
Wait, you're putting the birthday?
Yeah, I just put the month and the day.
Okay.
Just in case. I don't think we're going to guess the same age. But
Okay.
okay, do you
I
want to
said
reveal
the
Okay.
ages? I said 72.
72? She said 72.
I feel like he's one of those guys that's like really old and nobody knows.
I
I'm
said
bad with
54.
ages.
I said 54.
There's
So,
no way
Kayla,
he's 54.
would you like to reveal
Wait. Is it
Drum roll.
who's closest or who's closest without going over?
closest?
No, it's who's closest. Okay.
Yeah, it's closest. He is 60.
Sure, you won.
How old did you say?
72.
72. Yeah, I won. What the hell? What's his birth date?
August 10th, 1960.
I said October
August 10th.
17th.
You would have been closer. I said April 12th.
I don't know why I
Dang.
said 72. I almost went
Thank you,
older.
Kayla. She was a bit older? Oh my goodness.
I thought he was one of those guys that like is that you're like, oh, he's 70? I don't know.
Someone's yelling 60 at us
I
right
know.
now. Well, you.
That's so embarrassing. I don't know why we chose this as the tie. I
You
almost said
did.
tiebreaker. I know, that's what I mean. I don't know why I chose this because I'm so bad with ages. Are you also bad with ages?
Not really.
Mm.
And Antonio Banderas. Yeah, he's 80.
72.
Well, now he's never going to listen to the podcast again.
Sorry. He looks
Oh,
really
wait.
good for a 72-year-old. What am I watching? Did you even pick a movie for next week?
Oh, no.
I know.
I forgot.
Okay. Well, what am I watching next week? Do you even know that? Truck 2?
Yeah, we're going to do Shrek 2. No.
Did she pick that because of Shrek? Antonio Banderas?
Is he in Shrek?
Isn't he Puss in Boots? Is he not? Cut that. If he's not, cut that out. I don't want to sound stupid twice.
Who is Puss in Boots? No, I'm scared. Okay, he is, yeah.
I'm scared too.
Yeah, we'll say that for that. So Shrek 2 for you.
Okay.
As far as what we're watching, that's a good question. I can't believe you lost back to back.
Well, first of all, don't get all fucking cocky just because you won twice. And this one was by a tiebreaker. I still
Yeah, but
embarrassed you.
how did you embarrass me?
I don't know.
I'm just glad that it's not that bad. Like I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
When you created this segment, I thought I wasn't gonna have any.
Me too. So I'm glad you're actually giving me some competition. I was
thought you'd
nervous that it would
suck
be
ass.
boring because I was like, I would have it every time, and you're like, Andy Samberg was in Hot Rod.
I was gonna pick that, but there's nothing. I couldn't do anything with that.
There was Bill Hader, and I tried to do Bill Hader. Oh, you know what? Fucking shit. No, I was gonna do Bill Hader, Henry Winkler, and then Henry Winkler to Andy Samberg, but I couldn't confirm if they had been. I'm pretty sure they had never been in the same episode.
Oh, of Parks and Rec?
Yeah.
Well, we said season, so you might have. That's a little like.
I also couldn't confirm that either. I knew he was in it with Amy Poehler.
Oh. Good call. Good call. Okay. So now that you're gonna watch Shrek,
Shrek 2.
2, yeah. Together we will watch Shaun of the Dead
Oh, okay.
on HBO Max. I feel like you're always surprised by what I pick. I mean, I know I just decided what it was now, but you're like, oh, not bad. Okay.
Well, because I'm always expecting like fleshed away kind of level.
Yeah.
I think I just get surprised when you don't pick an animated movie.
Oh, okay.
Well, I also haven't. It's all you. You're good at picking movies that I haven't thought about in a long time. I think I've only
Yeah.
seen that movie once, actually.
I love this movie. So watch it. It's on HBO Max for next
That'll be
episode.
fun.
This is a good one. Not so cursed.
What do you think? Kramer versus Kramer was cursed?
No, I'm saying it will, like this episode was not so cursed.
Oh, at the end it got a little dicey.
Yeah.
I mean,
We should cut it before it gets any worse.
Okay, worse than me saying Antonio Banderas is 72 years old.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Alrighty. Well, next time, Shaun of the Dead. See you later.
Thanks for listening. Bye.